There are two species of crocodile in Australia. The freshwater, more properly known as the Johnston River crocodile, Crocodilus johnstonii, and the saltwater or estuarine crocodile, Crocodilus porosus. Only the saltwater crocodile is a man-eater, but don't let that name fool you. It's also found in freshwater rivers and billabongs many miles from the sea. Its range now extends at least from Onslow in the west to Gladstone in the east. One was even found as far south as Shark Bay on the west coast, and we note that the latest literature even shows Exmouth as being included in salty territory. Saltwater crocodiles are extremely dangerous. You must always take precautions while visiting areas that they inhabit. Americans, who may be used to the relatively placid alligator, should not make the same assumptions about the Australian salty. The salty is far more dangerous than the alligator, with any croc over 2 metres being regarded as a possible man-eater, and any close to 2 metres being extremely dangerous. Never swim in waterways known to contain crocodiles. If you must get wet, do so at shallow rapids, and post a lookout, preferably someone with a rifle who's a good shot. Keep dogs and children well away from riverbanks and shorelines. And remember that saltwater crocs are common along beaches as well as along rivers. Crocodiles have been seen swimming out in the open ocean, as much as 30 kilometres from the nearest land. Always take note of posted warning signs. If you're fishing, stay well back from the bank, and do not clean fish within 50 metres of the water. If you're fishing in the same river over a period of days, don't return to the same spot over and over again. Crocodiles are quite capable of watching you and formulating a plan to get you when you return to the same spot. Using canoes and small boats is also dangerous in croc territory. Crocs sometimes do attack them, and a 12-foot dinghy is no match for a 20-foot croc. If fishing from a boat, don't lean over the side to retrieve your catch. Crocs can jump out of the water, and there have been a number of close calls. The fact is that large saltwater crocodiles can and do kill people. Having legs and being able to run at high speeds for short distances makes them a far more serious threat than sharks. Sharks generally attack because they believe swimmers to be seals or some other usual prey. Sometimes once they bite, they realise their mistake and swim away. This virtually never happens with crocodiles. If a croc targets you, it wants to eat you. Just this year, in 2024, a man lost his life despite not taking risks and doing the right thing. Simply walking along a path some 5 metres above the river's edge proved to be fatal when the path collapsed and he unfortunately fell into the river and was unable to get back out. Within minutes, he was taken by a crocodile. Allowing large estuarine crocodiles to inhabit areas frequented by large numbers of tourists is a recipe for disaster. The current campaign of complete protection for a species which is no longer under threat of extinction will lead to more deaths. What do you do if you're unlucky enough to be threatened by a crocodile in the wild? Well, there's not a lot you can do, but if you find yourself in that situation, don't count on it being afraid of people. They have been protected since 1970 in WA, and the large crocs have absolutely no fear of us. They do have a natural caution, like most predators, and there is a possibility of bluffing them by throwing things and making a lot of noise. During the tragedy in 1987 that took Ginger Meadows' life, 2 girls were swimming near the Cascades on the Prince Regent River when a large crocodile appeared. They swam to a ledge but were still waist deep in water. The girl swimming with Ginger threw her shoes at the croc and screamed at it. The croc was temporarily confused and stopped. At that moment, Ginger panicked and jumped off the ledge into deep water and tried to swim to safety. This was just what the croc had been waiting for, and it immediately attacked with fatal results. Crocodiles prefer to take people when they're on their own, but they can and do take people when they're swimming in groups. In another case, where a couple had to swim from shore to their boat, the croc waited until one climbed aboard before making its move. Being in a small boat carries a fair degree of risk. Val Plumwood was attacked by a large crocodile while paddling a canoe. And then there was the infamous Sweetheart, who attacked and sometimes sank aluminium dinghies, but strangely left their occupants alone. In crocodile country, there is no real safe place near the water. One survivor of a croc attack, who was diving at the time, managed to get his fist down the crocodile's throat. Crocodiles have a muscular flap of skin at the back of their throat that stops water entering while their mouths are open. In this instance, it appears that once the victim got his fist past that flap of skin, the croc started to take on water, and would have drowned if it had not released his grip. Having spent some 2 years living in crocodile country, we never forgot to be careful when near rivers and creeks. But living with crocodiles full time seems to make some people a bit blasé. You'll see locals wading around, leaning out of boats, and doing lots of silly things near the water. Every now and then, one of them pays the ultimate price for not being vigilant. Even camping near the water can be dangerous. In a recent attack on a group in Queensland, campers had been at the same spot for 12 nights, and the croc watched their routine. It knew when to attack and chose a time late at night when everyone was asleep. 2 people were badly injured during the attack, and the croc was finally shot. The recommended distance from water for campers is 50 metres, but we would more than double that if we were in croc country. The saltwater crocodile is the largest of all crocodile species, and its bite has been measured at over 2,000 pounds per square inch, making it the most devastating bite in the world. Crocodiles, unlike other reptiles, have a 4-chambered heart, and can partially regulate their body temperature despite being officially labelled as cold-blooded. Crocodiles are survivors from the age of dinosaurs, and are actually more closely related to birds than they are to other reptiles. Although the freshwater species is not regarded as a threat to human life, they can grow to be quite large, some 2 to 3 metres, and on occasion they have been known to attack people in what is believed to be territorial defence. They may not be as dangerous as the salty, but they must be treated with a great deal of respect and caution. Freshwater crocs have been protected in WA since 1962.